How's it going? Thralls of Metal here again with another album review. I'm Necrotic Nick.
Shredlord.
We are going to review Allegaeon's new album, Apoptosis. This came out in April on Metal Blade, and this is a technical, melodic death metal band from Denver, Colorado, and this is their 5th full length. I've been listening to these guys for a number of years, and I've been consistently impressed with their level of play, and this album is no exception already.
This album was fucking incredible. It is a guitar player's wet dream. Everything about this album, from if you love guitars,
yes,
there's something for everybody, from the riffs to the great acoustics to the killer fucking leads.
Oh my god, ripping solos across the board. Every track minus an interlude is just blistering guitar work. But the thing I love about them is, while they are very technical, they are very riff-oriented. They like the good grooves to it. You can bang your head to this. You're not trying to figure out a polyrhythm as much here. You're just like, dude, I'm in this moment. And these chuggy riffs are carrying it, and then you just get these layered leads over it. Fantastic work.
Their composition skills are downright incredible because they have so many different parts going on, but the way they are able to weave everything together to create one giant song, the composition never seems forced to me. Everything flows incredibly well. No matter how many different parts they throw in a song, they always find the right way to weave it in and out, and it was excellent to listen to. It was a treat to hear that.
Oh, absolutely. Like, it definitely reminds me of a lot of melodic death metal bands, but it also reminds me of a lot of other stuff. Like, they really have honed their own sound here. Like, I heard elements of Strapping Young Lad, but also like Arch Enemy, like older Arch Enemy, and definitely some Soilwork vibes in there, Scar Symmetry.
Definitely.
It's just quite a fascinating listen, and the fact that they have their songs are longer, they don't feel like a labor to listen to because there's so much going on. They keep you hooked.
Yeah, they're interesting the entire way, which is, once again, going back to my point that I just made, it's no matter how many different sections you got going on, it doesn't seem labored or boring to listen to. So that's kind of a treat, because many bands tried that approach, but not that many can succeed at that. So it's nice to hear that.
Yeah, you can get, like, a lot of bands that get lost in just the prog noodlery and like, look at this cool thing. I was like, yeah, it's cool. You're kind of taken away from this cool little moment here. Like, I was there, and then you kind of sailed off there. But it never really loses that, and I just loved it. The production is excellent on this, and everything stands out. Even the bass work. Bass work is generally something like most metalheads. It's like, oh, I couldn't hear the bass. You could hear the bass, and this bass player can fucking play.
Yeah, and you hear that right from the
instrumental
introduction track, right off the bat. You hear this killer bass tone, just
some cool tapping probably on there.
Yeah.
It just sounded awesome, and then just curtails in this awesome chuggy riff, and then boom, you got solos. Like, holy shit,
amazing instrumental.
Like, you get a sense of what you're in for right away, and it goes right into the next track, which just pummels you. And I love the fact that these guys can be exceptionally brutal, like, not just melodic death brutal, but like death metal brutal, but still fiercely melodic.
Yeah.
Their new singer, this is his second album with them, really showed a good vocal variety on here. Had some mid-tempo, like mid-range screams, good brutal death growls, like real low, like Chris Barnes-esque,
yeah,
and like Frank Mullen from Suffocation, and then these cool clean passages, which were really strong. They really came out in like nice punctuated moments. I really dug that.
Definitely. And even though you probably don't think there was enough of those good clean vocals,
there should have been more. He was really strong.
You can definitely hear full-on great clean vocals from this dude in their cover of Subdivisions by Rush, which is easily one of the coolest and best covers I've ever heard in my life.
They owned it. They fucking owned it. I still jam that one all the time. Like, if I just want to hear like a great cover, that's generally the first one I go to here lately.
And the thing about the guitarists, once again, because that's what I'm going to harp on, is there were so many great inflections of different players that I heard. At times I hear like something like a Per Nilsson from Scar Symmetry, and then at other times I hear like a John Petrucci-esque type vibe, and then it'll go to like a little bit of a Jeff Loomis deal, and
definitely like, Jeff Loomis.
That's a fucking combination, man. Holy fuck. So
that's a Voltron guitarist
yes.
right there.
Wikipedia says that only the one dude plays leads. If both guys play leads,
there's a lot of interplay though.
Yeah.
I mean, you definitely get a lot of like dual guitar harmonies, and they just nail them. Like these guys have such a strong sense of melody. Like they hit the right fucking moments.
And it's amazing because as a music listener, sometimes you find bands that are really great with the technical aspect of it, but, you know, maybe a little lacking melodically. Or sometimes you'll hear a band that's really great melodically, but they're not at the top of the technicality game as far as technique goes. These guys have it all. Like, for real. I don't see this band being limited by talent. It's just limited by creativity, and they have plenty of creativity, so the sky's the limit for these guys.
Very much so. Like they love their fierce sci-fi themes and philosophy. I really dug it. One of my favorite tracks on here was the title track, the last big closer, a 10-minute fucking riff fest. It was just fucking amazing, and it had these nice slower parts, which really didn't. Like this album keeps its foot on the gas pretty much the entire time.
Very high energy,
and I loved it. But this one had some slower moments in here. They really let the clean vocals shine on this one, too. And one of the best songs on there.
Yeah. Had a nice little acoustic track.
Love that.
Couple-minute acoustic track, very pretty. Kind of reminded me of, like, when we were talking, listening to it, like, you know, Shadows Fall always used to put, like, a really cool acoustic track on all their albums. Always dig that. So, yeah.
Good use of synths, too. Now, I usually harp on synths when it's overused, but they used it to pretty much accentuate moments, give it almost like a cinematic feel, very Devin Townsend-esque. That, you know, that nice level of layering where it's not just like, you know, just like doing weird stuff. And
right.
It's just this,
it serves a purpose.
Yes, it makes the song have even more heft, and even though heft is not a problem on this album at all.
No, plenty. It's very hefty.
Love it.
Very
Love
hefty.
it. The only thing I can knock it on is maybe just more clean vocals, because you have a really good singer in this band. I think let him shine a little bit more. You know, it was very sparse. Like he had a couple of moments, like mainly like the biggest moment was the last track, but there were a couple other moments where he shined. Last track really showed off the range.
Right.
And if you're the Subdivisions cover, you know this guy can sing.
You know this guy has some good pipes, man. Definitely.
But as for a rating, I'm gonna go ahead and give it 4.5 stars. It's damn close to perfect. It really is. Just some minor things that keep that little half star away from it, but it's a gorgeous album. 100% get this one. Jam the fuck out of it.
I gave it a perfect rating. To me, I can already see this being a very early favorite to be in my top metal albums of this year, without a doubt. As a lover of all things guitar, and if you're like me, it has everything from great acoustic sounds, great clean sounds, great leads, great riffs, great riff tones, nice and crunchy and fucking crisp, super ballsy. So it has everything I could have asked for out of this album as far as the guitars went. And then to top it off, we had this singer who did it all, you know, who ran the gamut as far as different voices and styles. You have this bass player that was prominent, thumping and adding a lot of good texture.
Oh, yeah.
And you have this drummer that probably has a fucking car battery installed in his body somewhere, because that dude is a fucking machine.
The fucking footwork.
Yeah.
That dude is, there's no way he's human. He probably is human, though.
I absolutely adore this album, which is why I have to give it a 5 out of 5.
Totally understand it, man. Well, that'll pretty much do it for this review. Why don't you tell us what you thought of this album, too? And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And there'll be plenty more of this shit coming, I promise. Take her easy.
Peace!